Ahoy, crypto pirates. Welcome to your Discord Syndicate's FN Hangout. I am the captain, your captain, R to the G to the motherfucking 3. Hey, how's everybody doing? Great week. I'm feeling good. Back in the gym. Spent all week in the gym, getting sore, doing all that cool stuff, you know. Trying to keep up with Richard. You guys know he's coming back. And he's coming back jacked. I know Richard's looking good. He's thinned out. He is looking sharp. He's got some new fitted black t-shirts for his next stream that he's going to do soon. The Eggman is coming. The Eggman cometh. What came first, right? I think I know what Richard's talking about. What came first? The goat. Hex, baby. Hex. That's what we're talking about. That's all we talk about. Wow. We talk about a lot of stuff around here. And maybe not all of it has been good, but maybe not all of it has been bad. Maybe not all of it has been profitable. Maybe not all of it has been a wreck. So we can't throw the babies out with the bathwater. We got to talk about it all. And that's what Discord Syndicate's for. This is for you. This is the Hexican community. The Hexicans come here to hash it out, talk about what's going on out there, try and listen to the old man from the sea yelling and screaming at the moon, eating shit and barking at it, telling you guys that row your boat gently down the stream. Gently down the stream. Too many people rowing like hell upstream, and you should be just taking it easy and rowing it down the stream like some of us. Anyway, let me say hello to everybody. Hey, Crispy Man, my cigar pal. If you haven't seen, we have a new stream on Thursday nights called Burn It All. If you're in crypto, if you're a Hexican, you're not into cigars, you know, you don't have to come. But if you know anybody who's into cigars and wants to know a little bit about crypto, that's what we're doing there. We are talking about cigars, breaking into that community, trying to, just expand our horizons a little bit, get out of the sounding board here. Hold on a second. Seems like, it seems like it's every time I go on live, I get messages from everybody. Hold on a second. Oh, but when that one comes through, I have to check it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the producer. Let me see what's going on here. Nope. Oh, okay. I just saw something come through. All right. That wasn't for me. Never mind. All right. Well, hello, Crispy. Melf Tony. What's up? Servant, Hexican servant, Melf Tony there. How's things going? Where's the prices? What are we seeing? What's going on? Eagle Owl, how you doing? The chicken or the egg? The egg. The egg. Alan, what's up, dude? What is up? How are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Always being here. And look, we got a blast from the past. One of my old buddies. Why is this not scrolling? Hold on. I've lost access to my scroll. Oh, what is going on? What the actuator? Did I put that up there? I think I got a problem here. Hold on one second.
Let's see. There we go. We're back. We're back in business. All right. My mouse shut off. What's up, Eagle Owl? How you doing? We've got Give Me Liberty. Price is looking good right here. Digging in. Old boot for the stash of cash. If you guys don't know, Liberty's OG of the OGs. He's been around for a long time. My buddy out here in SoCal. Let's see. What is it? Alan says, I am willing to bet the captain shaved his head to get better prices going. Thanks for your sacrifice, Captain. What? No way, man. I don't do that shaved head thing. I have a big, ugly melon head. It is not, I am not a shaved head dude. Thank God I've got hair. Thank God. Now it's all jacked up. I put these dreadlock things in. And now my hair is all dreadlocked out, about a good 9-10 inches of it now. Pretty soon they've been cutting all this off, so it's pretty soon it'll all be on just my hair. So anyway, no shaved head for me. No. I'm already ugly. Let's see, Felix Stanley. Oh, echo? Is there an echo? Are we hearing an echo? It's just you, Felix. Maybe you got a couple of YouTube's open or something. Hey, what's up, Backwards Hat Dad? How you doing? Good to have you. And we've got NJ Dub. I'm here for free stables. Thanks in advance. There is no free stables. Some of them are worth billions now. Did you guys see that? We had Circle. They tried to buy Circle. Ripple tried to buy Circle. Circle told them not enough. I think we got to watch that one close, guys. That is a big play right there. That is a big play, and it's going to be it's gonna be market changing right there. That happens. We got something going on there. That's something to watch. Something to watch. Let's see here. Sandy Beach, my lady. Welcome. Hope all is well and you're doing good. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Who else? All right. Looks like everybody. All right. So what do we want to talk about today? I started out, I know that we're still in the throes of the bear market, and we're starting to move, and there's a lot of grumblings. I think that Richard is on the move. I think that he's getting ready for some big moves. I think that things are happening. I hear a lot of grumblings back behind the scenes that we may be seeing some action here within the ecosystem. Hell, even Coffee, my nephew, launched a meme coin. Now, I saw people giving him crap for it. But why? It's a meme coin, guys. It's a meme coin. That's all it is, a meme coin. If you don't want the meme coin, don't buy the meme coin. Oh man, it just represents him, and he's pretty damn popular. So I think it's a cool thing that he was able to just put that out there and say, hey, this is me, this is my meme, this is my thing. You wanna get in, and it looks like it was done fairly, and people are buying it. So that's on them. To each his own. Let people do what they want to do. Let's see. We know. Alan says we know why. Anyway, I promise I won't launch any more meme coins this week. Yeah, it's. I think everybody's exhausted. But it's given us something to do all this time. Now, all the things that we've done, I can't say were the best for the ecosystem, but it gave us all something to do. Look, what's happening right now is that we are all just circulating money and taking money out of each other's back pockets. That's what's happening. That's all that's going on, is that we are in a crypto circle jerk right now, taking money from each other. And anybody who wants to play that game, that's up to you. I've always, you know, railed against it and said Hex was your best bet. Hex was always your best bet, and setting up your stakes for the future, it was always your best bet. This is not a short-term game. I have been in crypto since 2014 as an investor. I've been around the game since Bitcoin launched. I didn't pay much attention to it. I didn't think it was worth anything. I didn't see much value in it when they first launched it. I was in all the old IRC chat rooms as a gamer, as a game developer. I didn't make games. I made platforms that supported games. Made a platform that supported games. Let me change that. And I didn't really start investing and getting involved until 2014. Ran all the way to 2017 and did really well. And I had a cousin who's in the entertainment industry, was American Idol, top 10 runner-up guy. He did TV shows, whatnot. He got a bunch of Bitcoin in 2016, 15, watched it run up, and he dumped it all in 17, right before the crash. And of course, I called him. I said, "No, dude, you don't want to do that. You don't want to sell that stuff." Well, he did, and he made a grip. He made a good amount of money, but he was out. He was out, and I stayed in. And I look like the fool because my bags went like Richard says, right? And it was a hard 3 years after that, watching it, go down and down and down and down and down. And then, of course, seeing what was going on behind the scenes, which is crypto has always been full of the biggest grifters that I've ever seen. And I've been in business. I've worked a blue collar job, and I've seen lots of people out there grifting money from folks. I've seen lots of people out there, trying to put their hands in other people's pockets and take it out. And I've always tried to steer clear of it. In business, I've done my thing by trusting people and being that guy that does that trusts, that puts the trust out there. And but I've always watched out for grifters, and I've been involved with grifters. And in 2017, 18, 19, I just watched this place just turn into degeneracy. It was horrible. It was horrible. All the same old plays that were played in the real world were being played out here in crypto, and they were acting like, it was something new. It was what do I say? There ain't nothing new under the sun. They weren't doing anything different. And I was watching them and saw what they were doing, was very disappointed, was very disillusioned with crypto and everybody that was in it. And then along came Richard Hart. And I thought he was the guy to hitch your buggy to, because he was speaking truth. And he was saying stuff all these other folks weren't. While they were, backing all this crap that was going on, while they were, every time a new scam hit, they acted like they didn't promote it. They acted like they weren't behind it. They acted like they didn't know what was going on. And then they moved on to the next thing. And, that wasn't cool. But I saw Richard not doing that. And I saw Richard going, well, you know what? Forget all of this, no wallets and no custody and ICOs and all this other bull crap. I'm going to make the crypto that beats them all. And that was Hex. And I was glad he did, because I got to go all in with everything that I had already made. And I hitched my buggy up to that horse, and he has not let me down. And now, has the market done what it does? Yeah, the market's just doing the market. It's just doing what it does. Now, the pitfalls of being in a disruptive group of people, a disruptive founder that was going against the grain, didn't make it easy. you go through and you look at history. Somebody tweeted, and I wish I could say who did it. He did a great job. Gosh dang it, who was it? Was it Hextronaut that did it? Don't quote me on that. If it wasn't Hextronaut, I'm sorry. If it was, shout out to you. But somebody put something on Twitter and gave the history of what happened. And from day one, Richard was, the day he launched his coin, the day that people should have been congratulating him and waiting to see what his coin did, they sucked two lawyers on him, 3 lawyers on him, and Tone Vay sitting there with a shitting grin on his face, like he had done something special. And that's always sat really, really, really wrong with you. Have you ever watched that stream, going to Richard's stream, the first day he kind of announced Hex and what was going on, and they just tried to hammer him with that passive aggressive, you're going to go to jail and I'm going to try and help keep you out of jail kind of thing. And that was the beginning of it. And I know why they did it. And they're not around anymore. They're not doing anything significant. They haven't said anything more about this, probably because they don't want to put themselves in a position where they end up disparaging him and create libel, because like Peter McCormick, he really kind of created libel for himself by saying all the things he did, and then he went out and scammed and lied and took mortgages out or something like that. I don't know what the accusations were, but he did a bunch of bull crap, and then you look at the other fellow, who was that screechy Bitcoiner out there. Anyway, I don't see much of them anymore. They all ended up falling to the wayside, and then every other founder that accused Richard of doing something wrong, they ended up in orange jumpsuits. But it still continued to hammer. It still continued to come. It still continued to fud our bags. And in spite of all that, we kept going, and we became stronger and stronger, and the community became stronger, and we just continued to do things. And we celebrated victories. Sometimes we celebrated victories with a little too much fervor. There were some moments that I'm not proud of, that we did some football spiking. But we deserved it. We did. We deserved our wins when we got them, and we're going to deserve the next ones, and they're going to even be better. The next wins are going to even be better, and I believe in that, because there isn't anything else in crypto that's worth a damn. Now, they're all jockeying for position, and you see this new stablecoin legislation coming out, and you see who's jockeying for the position. You see who's trying to create legislation. And you see the people that are pulling the levers of power. And we just got to watch that. I keep saying that until I'm blue in the face. We've got to watch who's pulling the levers of power and what that means to us. I saw a lot of articles come out about Richard's SEC win. And of course, par for the course, they didn't give him credit. They basically, said the SEC backed out of it, and it's all, the Trump administration was the ones who took the teeth out of the SEC, and that's why. But it wasn't. If you were in that courthouse and watched the judge and Richard's lawyers work the SEC, and you watch the SEC and the work that they tried to do to bring who they thought was a scammer to justice, Richard, and it was very weak, and the judge even said so. And it wasn't that they pulled out; they didn't appeal. Their argument was moot. Their argument fell on deaf ears. Their argument was set aside by the judge, and it was said that your case has too many holes in it. Your timeline is horrible. Go back and unfuck yourselves. And they decided not to because because there isn't anything there. There was no there. Now there's this Interpol thing. Now, when you've got people in power, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to pull a conspiracy theory jab on Interpol, right? I'm not going to say that this and that and the other, whatever. But it's obvious there's a reason why they put him on when they did on the red list, whatever they call it, and that too is looking extremely weak. I think that if you look at it, the lawyers are probably working all over that too, to probably end up getting that removed, because that's a process there. Is because the accusations, I know absolutely nothing about the assault charges, absolutely nothing, or the accusation. I don't know if there's any charges or anything. I think there's just an accusation of some type of an assault, which I don't know the circumstances, but I've seen a lot of assaults in my life, been involved in a lot of them, and people get mad, people do things, and usually it's he said, she said, they said. There's two sides to every story, and I don't know what that's about. But the accusations from, I guess it's Finland or whatever, the more I looked into it, the more I saw that there probably is no there either. I think that Richard has crossed his T's and dotted his I's and taking care of all of his things legally. We saw it from the beginning. The Howey test, working on every single leg of the Howey test to try and fail it. We saw when he talked about the sacrifice phase, exactly what he said. And there's a lot of evidence showing what he said. And the thing about the sacrifice phase, I always thought in the beginning, I always thought that, the sacrifice phase was it's a little gray area kind of with this whole SAC thing. And the SEC tried to lean into that too and say, hey, this is kind of bullshit. He said this, but the judge even said, he said this. We have record of him saying this on stream. This is exactly what he said. This is exactly what he did. And you want to accuse him of something that you think he was saying, or do you want to go by the evidence of what he was saying? And it just, their argument just kept getting weaker and weaker. So the sacrifice phase to me was, taken care of and handled properly. All these things that Richard has done has seemed to be, on the up and up, legit, and protected himself. And he's even protected himself from, being part of anything that we've done, any part of our events that we've done, as far as the movie goes, he did not really, have any say so in it. He didn't support it. He didn't, really, other than the party that we had and where he showed up at the party in London, he really didn't have any say so in how the movie was done and what was done there. So he's really done a good job of, being a good crypto founder, and the products all work. Products have always worked. Hex is still Hex on both chains, still doing the same thing. Still making Bitcoin mining look dilapidated and old. I do understand why. I don't understand why people new to crypto that are looking at this, for the last, 5 years, if they've been in for the last 5 years, that's plenty of time for you to understand and learn what's really going on out there. And if you don't see the grift in Bitcoin, if you don't see what's happening, if you don't see who owns it, if you don't see what mining has done, if you don't see how rotten it is for crypto, again, let me go back and say, thank you, Bitcoin, for being first. Thank you, Bitcoin, for being the crypto that started crypto. But you're not the best. You're not what we need. You're not going to get us where we need to go. New technology was going to do that. And that's what Richard did. He built an inflation model. He built a staking feature that blows away mining, proof of work model. He ran the game, and they were just mad they weren't the first ones to do it. And so they've been coming at him and coming at us over and over and over again. And it's been a long, hard road, that's for sure. And I know that Richard's not one to sit back and not be doing something for the last 3 years. I know he's been taking care of things. And when he comes back and when things start moving, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of changes. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new products that come out on PulseChain, things that he's backing, more than likely. I'm sure that we're going to see things do much, much better and become the envy of crypto. And I think we already are, just people don't know it. People don't want to know it because look who's running it. We're a bunch of guys and gals that nobody pays to do what we do. In fact, all this is funded by ourselves. We've done all this. We've built our studios. We go out and stream. We were at the court case and Richard wasn't there. That's how supportive the Hexicans are. That's what we do. We've been in the face of adversity, and we have been the disruptors in this space. And I enjoy that. I really do. I really enjoy it. It's hold on one second. Let me read into the comments. There's some comments in here. Let's see. I'm being told to look into the comments. Well, hello. Is Quinn in here? Happy birthday, Quinn. Happy birthday to you, my lady. It's Quinn's birthday, everybody. Say happy birthday to her. Why ICOSA burn is rugged. I thought ICOSA burn I bought ICOSA burn when you promoted it. I didn't promote it. I told you that they were making things that were doing this. I don't promote these things. I don't tell anybody to buy shit. I want you to get that straight, first of all. Now, the whole iBurn GIF, PGIF thing, that's all being looked at. That's all. There were people in the background doing things that were probably less than honest. And, it happens. People do shit. People do bad shit. And I was hoping that it was going to be a technology that was going to help burn tokens, that was going to help onboard other projects into PulseChain. But it didn't do that. And the tech is all still out there. Anybody can go and do whatever they want with it. It still works. But it never got promoted. It never got, look, here's the biggest problem with these projects when they come out, especially these projects that mint tokens and burn tokens and do all this stuff. Liquidity is tough to deal with. And any team that puts liquidity in, it loses it. You see that with things like, liquid loans. You see that with all these tokens out there that everyone's like, oh, we want the money. We want the money. But look at the liquidity now, right? Everybody wants, Richard's money. Everybody wants Richard to put his money in there so they could pull it out. It's like you guys go out and promote it and get people to come in and get people to provide liquidity and people to put value behind these things and use them. That's the problem with them. And I didn't realize that until, this last, couple years here that, hey man, this is a tough game, this pulse chain and setting up liquidity and everything going down and pulling everything down while you're trying to build, while you're trying to do things. That's a tough place to be. So I think that, you got to give a lot of these projects some understanding. Now, if you aped into them, if you got a bunch of it, look, we've all lost. We've all lost on that. Trust me, I have too. But that's part of the game. We learned from Richard about liquidity, but we didn't learn enough. And I think that, we were playing a game here that was new. Nobody had ever done this. Nobody had ever brought tokens in with no value. Nobody had ever tried to, bridge in tokens and burn them and create arbitrage. I mean, everybody's tried to create arbitrage opportunities, of course. But if you don't have excitement behind these things and people coming in and have a reason to want to purchase them and a reason to want to bring new users into them, and they're too difficult and too complicated to understand and only insiders can use them, then they get drained. Look at the whole PDI narrative and look what's happened there. It's the same thing. And it's not necessarily that people have done something wrong. It's that things weren't ready for prime time. And if we put risk in there, that was on us. We were the ones playing in the wild, wild west. And I've always said that. I've always said it. If you're going to play with these things, if you're going to stick your hand in the fire, get ready to get burned. But if you can reach in there and snatch out a coal and not get burned and go start your own fire, then great. But buyer beware. Buyer beware. These things are brand new. These things have bugs, especially in the bridges. My God, bridges are tough. All this stuff is tough. And if you're out there playing in it, you got to be prepared to get wrecked. So anyway, and rugged, I guess rugged is the word to call when people don't want to lose all their money and provide liquidity. That's what I don't understand is like people put liquidity up. That's their money. And if they pull that liquidity out, it's still their money. And, if the real rug is the scam where they get, a Kim Kardashian or somebody and they're like, buy this. And then the next day, the whole team walks with all the money. That's not what's happened in a lot of cases. Has it happened? Oh yeah, it's happened. And are there things that are being looked at from all kinds of different angles in this community of people that may have done some shifty stuff? Yeah, it's all being looked at. But to say that everything out there that has failed is a scam, or is a real rug pull. I mean, look, we're all putting our hands in each other's back pockets, like I said. So anyway, I'm down 98%. Yep. I got somebody in the green room. I'm going to pull them up, but let me run through real quick. P.S. I make good painkillers. All right, pesky girl. Who else? Hey, I only see 12 likes. What's up, people? Yeah, hit some likes or dislikes. You can hit dislikes too if you want to. I'm okay with that too. Hey, what's up, Chasstown? How you doing? Logi 33, what's up? It's been a long, hard road for sure. Yeah, it has. Looking forward to your DeFi talk at the Pulse conference. RH Max, ladies and gentlemen, he is picking up the ball and running with putting on an online conference, and I'm excited about that. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. I am looking forward to it too. Cannot wait. Hex Siren's in here. Hey, what's up, girl? Good to see you. Been a while. Let's see. Joe Venuto, what's up to you? What are you doing, brother? Do you think RH streams before we are back to sack price? I think our RH might be streaming. I hope so. I think he might be streaming soon, or he might be up to something anyway. Let's see. Can he even come back with Interpol situation? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can. Captain, my captain, thoughts on PDI. I don't have any thoughts on PDI. I never have any thoughts on PDI. I said, it's a great experiment. I hope it works. But I had my doubts from day one, and I got hammered for it. I got hammered for having my doubts on it from day one. And all of the Atropa stuff and everything, you know, I didn't see anything different than what we're just talking about right now. What we're talking about. It's like you got to come up with a new meme and bring more value and more people to come in and make something exciting. And then once that fizzles out, you got to bring a new one in. You got to get some more behind it. And then you got to come up with a narrative and get people excited about it, and over and over and over again. And that's what we keep seeing over and over again. And if you fall for it all the time, then you deserve to have burnt hands, period. I chose not to get my hands burnt on a lot of these things. Some of them I thought were good, good projects and good experiments. And I would have, you know, backed them by, you know, getting myself involved a little bit, maybe providing a little liquidity or whatever. But we've talked about all of them here. We've talked about all of them. And I've told you guys, and when I had every one of them on the show here, I told everybody, you know, we're not promoting these guys. We're letting you hear what they're going to build. Sit back and watch them and see what they do. See what they do. And then if it turns out to be good tech, I'm still saying watch PulseChain. I think Hex is the only crypto that's worth a damn. Everything else is still suspect. Everything else is still suspect other than Hex, in my opinion. So that's the only thing that I can stand behind, because I know what it does. I know how it's acted. I know where it's going. And I think it's the best damn crypto that was ever created. And if crypto stays around, Hex is going to be a superstar. Period. End of story. Period. And Alan says he'll promote him. Let's see. Paul Sachs, I'm going to pull his up. Captain, you did a great job onboarding during the last cycle for Hex to fighting the outward tide from PulseChain, and to everyone still around onboarding these next 12 months. You know, thank you. And we did everything we could. We traveled the world, you know, on our dime. You know, I didn't ask the community to come in and pay for it. I didn't ask the community to come in and send us on a trip. I didn't ask the community to come in and, you know, pay for the Vegas event. You know, RG3, the captain, put up the money to do that. And when I did it and I said I was going to do it and the place was bought and paid for, not like the other motherfuckers before that tried to, you know, make you guys pay for it, and me, they came to me and asked me to help them and help them pay for it when they racked up close to $1 million bill on that thing. I said, that's not how you do it. You can't do it that way. You got to put a show together that's worth what you got, and you've got to put it together. And if people want to come, then that's on you. You should, if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to put an event together, then you put it together, make it happen, and then ask people to come and get involved afterwards. And that's what we did. And there was zero made on that event. That event was value packed for everyone that attended, for all of the sponsors that were there. And it paid for itself by the Hex community, you know, just like the movie did. Paid for itself, made no money. Made no money. None of these things have ever made any money. I do not make money off of any of this stuff, off of any of the promotions of any of these other tokens that have come on the show. Nobody has given me any money. I don't get sponsorships from any of these people. If they wanted to be part of the Vegas event, they came and they bought their space, and they paid for their space, and they paid for, you know, all of their swag and their all of their awnings and tablecloths and everything that was out there. All that stuff was paid for by them coming and wanting to be part of the event and be there for you so that you can meet them, so that you can talk to them, so that you can see what these projects are, so you can learn how to build trust with them, be involved with them. They were showing their faces. They were being there representing with the community in front of their faces, not on stream, not putting, TikTok videos out and stuff. They were there representing themselves so that you can be part of it. And I think that was commendable. I think that's commendable. That's how an event should be run. That's how a community should be built, is by all of us coming together and trying to build trust. All of us chipping in, all of us being part of it. Nobody grifting, nobody, trying to steal out of each other's back pockets. That's how it should be done. And that's how I'll always do it. That's how I'll always do it. And I've always given back to this community. I've never given anybody a raw deal, and I've never rug pulled on anybody. I have my integrity. In fact, I've got coins that I supported that are still sitting there that I promised I would not get rid of. I would not sell. They are still sitting there to this day that are worth nothing, that I put my hard-earned money into to support it. So, I'm going to put all that shit to rest. Anybody thinks that I've ever, I got the receipts to prove it. So anyway, all we got, guys, look, we are the dregs. We are the misfits of crypto. Nobody likes us. And half of you motherfuckers in here don't even like me. So to be put up against all of that and continue and still go means that we have integrity. Means that we're doing this for a reason. Means that we see a higher purpose. I'm not in this for glory. I'm in this for other people to enjoy the life that I have been given because of crypto, because of what Richard has built. Look, those of us who got in early and believed in Richard and did what Richard said and built staking ladders and staked our hex out for years and years at a time, we won because we listened. We won because we were smart. We didn't try and ape and dump and get in and get out. In fact, right before big payday, I was the one out there telling everybody, hey, if you short staked, you screwed up. Emergency end stake that shit and stake it out longer. This is not the game. We're playing the game wrong. And a lot of people did, and a lot of people have thanked me because they did that. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I'm here to try and teach people. I'm here to do what Richard says is the good work. He wants to make the world a better place, and I want to help him do that. There's a bigger calling here than glory or any of this stuff. I've never cared about how many viewers we have. I've never cared about any of that stuff. I've never hit the like, subscribe, comment buttons, and hit the bell and all that shit. We haven't tried to build a YouTube channel here. We've just tried to tell the truth and tried to show everybody that we have integrity. And I think that that's the most important thing, because this world is full of people who don't have any integrity, that don't understand that way of life anymore. I don't know where this stuff comes from. Why we're all grifting on each other. Why it's okay to be strong and wrong. Why it's okay to be so fucking mean to each other all the time. When I first started this show, there was a couple of, there's a couple of trolls out there in the Hex community that were just, shit talking, fudding the show, fudding us. I brought them in and gave them ban hammers. I brought them in and said, well, let's talk. What problem do you have with us? What is it that you don't like? Fuck the whole worrying about the pirate thing and all that stuff. That's not what I'm here for. This is my gig, man. And it honors my dad. That's all this really is about. And why are you guys so mean? Why do you not? We had Crypto Black Sheep at the time, and Trayvon and all that. They were like, don't talk to those guys. Don't bring those guys in here. No, I like the dregs. I want the people that people say are the least of us, because you know what? When you take people like that and you turn them around, or you get them on your side, those are the ones that fight for you. Those are the ones that have a little something to fight for. That's why they fight so hard. I'll take an underdog any fucking day. Any day. Give me a handful of underdogs and I'll go take on the fucking world. That's what I want to see. So I've always loved the least of us. I've always liked the least of us. Why? Because they end up being the best of us. I've seen it happen for years and years and years in the recovery business. I've seen people that were gutter, drunk, freaking needles in their arm turn into the best people on the planet. Some of my best friends were people that you would not even want in your neighborhood. And they're good folks now because they turn their lives around. And I think we all should be doing that. We should be putting our hands out to these folks and giving them a place to be. And the world will be a lot better place. But we don't live in that right now. So anyway, I'm going to quit rambling because we got a guest in the back room here, and it's a guest I haven't seen in a while, and I've been thinking about him too because I want to talk to him. Let me flip this around so that I can make it like I'm talking to him here. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one of our best, Zenith from the DJ.
Yes, I figured I'm more of a crew member at this point. I'm hopefully a faithful deckhand for you.
You most certainly, you're more than that, man. You are more than that. We need to talk about, we need to have a chat now that I'm back in the States and stuff. We need to have a chat about the conversation we had with the lawyers and the secretary or the treasurer of Nevada in the VIP lounge at the event. We need to have a conversation about that.
Exactly. Like most deckhands, I only get dragged into the officers' quarters when there's an important conversation going on. But that was a good time being in there.
It was.
I gotta say, we definitely got to chat about that. But I gotta say that was a hell of a speech you just gave there. It was an emotional roller coaster ride because you started off with "nobody likes us," and I was like, "Oh, geez," and then you finished off with "give me the underdogs, we'll take over the world." So I like that. I like that all day.
It, man. It's always the misfits that make things happen. It's always the misfits that change the world. And you look at it anywhere, any good story, any good heroic story with integrity that's worth the shit. It was the underdogs that made it happen. It was the misfits, and that's who we are, man. And I love it. I really do love it. It hasn't been easy. It's not easy. And sometimes that's the way of the person and the people who change the world, is that it's not easy to do that, and if you keep fighting and you keep going and you keep getting pushed back, you just get stronger and stronger, and the people that you gather around you, they get stronger and stronger too. And then at some point you can't stop that. I mean, I learned that in the Marine Corps. They took about 120 guys, and they day one, they take everything from you. They take everything from you. They shave your head. They take your clothes. They strip you down to nothing. They give you all the same pair of underwear to wear. Not the same pair of underwear. We're all wearing the same pair of underwear. And then you're not even allowed to walk or talk. You're an amoeba. They make an amoeba out of you for about 2 days. You don't sleep. You're just, your brain dies. You die. And we start losing people right off the bat. Like by the time, we started with 120, we ended up with like 78, something like that, 76 guys at the end, and they just grind you and grind you and grind you until you quit or you become what they want you to become. And there's strength in that. There's, on the other end of that, a Marine pops out. And, I don't know if a lot of you no, but and I'm not, of course I'm biased because I was a Marine, but there's there's nothing more honorable, more respected, more squared away, more locked in than a Marine, that comes out of boot camp. They make a certain type of individual out of you, um, by design. And and I saw that happen, and then I saw what it created. And when you get a group of people like that together, you get all the stories that you get when you look at all the battle stories of the Marines, from World War II, Korea, all of these battles, all these times when they were outnumbered hundreds to one, 200 to one, 300 to one, and they still kicked ass. They still won. They still did their job to the last man. And there's something to be said about that hardening, that forging, being kicked in the face over and over and over again. And that's what we've been done. That's what's been done to us here. Even in our victories, they try to defeat us. You saw that last week in Twitter. I tried to not complain and bitch about it too much. I even posted a bunch of their stories. They were, even though there was news, they were like, yeah, the SEC walked away from the Richard Hart case. And I was like, well, at least they reported on it, right?
Yeah, you got a headline somewhere. They didn't walk away. They walked away with a loss, is what they walked away with.
They walked away with a loss. And we know that. And the judge stated that. And they had their tail between their legs, and they didn't have any legs to stand on. They know that even if they rewrote the complaint, that they weren't going to be able to prosecute. They weren't going to win. I mean, the judge had already basically told them, you guys better square your shit away, because it's not looking good. You want to go back to the drawing board? Here, go ahead. I'm going to give you a bunch of time. In fact, I'm going to stretch this out even longer. And
they asked for the extension. Still came up with nothing. A lot of
time. And they didn't. And yeah. So anyway.
Now, you're entirely right, though, which, I was listening to Charlie's stream earlier this week, Cultivate Crypto, good buddy of ours. He was saying that PulseChain, as a community, it works well, because even when things aren't going well, nobody's leaving, everybody's sticking around, and that's a good indicator that good things are to come.
Yeah, man, it's looking really good. It's looking really, really good. And seeing a lot of the streamers, dust off their microphones and their cameras and coming back, and seeing Hodl. By the way, shout out to my boy Hodl Dog. Congratulations on having a baby. Man, oh man, am I happy for you, bro. It's nothing like being a father, man. Nothing like being a father. So congratulations to Hodl Dog. I don't know if you people saw it, but he announced that he had a baby, and man, my best goes out to him and his new family. So right on. Hope to see you soon out there streaming, bro, because you definitely are one of our best.
Shout out to him tackling the birthing crisis head on.
Yep. So what's going on with you, man? Where you been? What's happening?
I have been over here just doing what we do. We actually just finished up book club tonight, and we did a redo of an episode that I think is probably going to be near and dear to your heart, because we felt like we didn't do The Speed of Trust justice the first time around. So we hit it again. So good. I'm I know you just streamed about it probably, but let's talk about that, because I was talking about that earlier here. One of the things that has made me stronger is being kicked in the teeth, and being taken advantage of. People think I've been taken advantage of, but I always know, I give people enough rope to hang themselves, and because I always believe in the best of people. Now, I never give people enough rope to hang me along with them. But I put trust out there, because I know that,
in building relationships and building anything good, trust has to be put on the table. You have to put it out there. You have to extend it in order to receive it. And there's been many times where I've extended it, and and people have mistaken kindness for weakness, and have taken advantage, or walked with what they thought may have been a lot, or they thought they won but they didn't, and it made me stronger. It built me. It diminished their trust account, and they really didn't steal anything from me, because trust doesn't divide, it multiplies. And it is a mathematical equation, and you can talk about that book a little bit and how that works. But yeah, I haven't won as many times as I would have liked to, but it's made me stronger. It's made me smarter. It's made me a better negotiator. It's made me a better business person. It's made me a better human being. And I get to sleep well on my pillow at night, and I know some of them don't.
True. Yeah. For the folks at home, by the way, the speed of trust was actually a recommendation to me from this gentleman over here, and I believe you gave me that recommendation after I asked you in person, back when I was a fresh influencer, as much as I hate the word. I said, we operate in a DeFi space, which is built on trustless protocols. So how do you have leadership in a trustless space? And he said, read the book, son. So I did. And the core of the book is there's the 4 core elements of trust. There's 2 categories. You have practicality and more of character traits. The character traits are integrity, which is just being a man of your word; intent, which is actually giving a damn about other people and showing that you are also looking for those win-win scenarios, not just you trying to get your own. Your practical categories, you have competency, which is you actually got to be capable of doing things. You got to be constantly learning, constantly working, feeling like you're utilizing your talents properly, and knowing what your talents are in the first place. And then the last one is results, which is build that track record. If you can have a track record that you can point to and effectively communicate properly, that's going to be a banger. And then additionally, you mentioned earlier the trust account, or the trust bank, the trust piggy bank. The idea that you want to keep just putting coins in there, building trust consistently. It's very easy to shatter the piggy bank in one fell swoop. But at the same time, if you do that, the only way to fix it is tape it together and start putting little coins back in there. So yeah. I mean, shoot, it's a good one. It also talks about the different levels of trust, like yourself, interpersonal relationships, organizations, markets, society. It's a good one. But shoot, I mean, when it comes to working with people in the space, this right here is, I guess, a form of building trust, which is just showing up consistently, being a man of your word, trying to show that you're not out to screw anybody, and showing that you actually know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And then the last 2 that you talked about was, putting up on the scoreboard, basically. That's the hard part in this space. That is the hard part. It's on you to go out and do things, show integrity, and like you said, build that, be consistent, and show that you have a cause, other than yourself, that you're working to build something for others, that you're not giving people a bad deal. You're making a good deal for everybody, and that you're working hard towards that goal. And in this space, the hard part is putting the scores up on the scoreboard. And that's where we end up getting false trust, because a lot of these guys out there, these influencers that are out there, have put up a lot of scores. And I won't do that. I won't go out and promote something that is going to go up and make people like me, get me clicks, get me likes, get me followers, and then wreck that. Or I'd rather just work on the cores, like you said, and continue with the cores until the scores come. But a lot of today's society is about being strong and wrong. Giving
That's one way of putting it.
the idea that scores are being put up on the board, especially if you put a couple of shekels in their wallet. You know, they're faking the funk. They haven't they haven't provided the cores. They haven't provided the pillars of what's required to build trust and build a real community and build a real following behind a product like cryptocurrency, which doesn't have a company, that doesn't have real marketing yet. There could be marketing, down the road, once we get favorable legislation and we can do that type of thing, and whatnot. And there's money that can be put up to do that. And there's money for us to lobby and things like that. That's not there yet. We're still working on the cores, and that's what we should be doing, is working on the cores and trying to put up little scores, and just being able to stick around. To me, that's a score.
I think so.
Being able to not be, walk the plank, mutinized and sent off the plank and into the depths and meeting Davy Jones. That's a win to me so far in this thing.
I would agree.
We've got a ways to go. But if we keep working on the cores, like you said, and the pillars, we will eventually get there.
I think the results core is an interesting one in this space, because there's either two ways to do it for us in the crypto space. You either got to do it in the markets or outside of the markets. If you're doing it outside the markets, you got to build some good results consistently, which means you're probably not just making money on crypto the entire time, but you're trying to build something outside of it, whether it's community, putting on events, putting on streams, putting good content out there consistently. But the other side is, if you're trying to do it inside the market, I think there's kind of a beautiful irony to that, which is that in today's modern age of 15-second TikToks and all that stuff, the markets still operate on that 4-year cycle, at least up to this point. And I do believe it's going to hold, which means if you want to put some results down based on making some good moves there, you got to wait some 4 years. It's a little bit of forced gratification if you're on the Hex Quattro Cinco plan as well.
Yeah, and I think that because of how fast and volatile this space moves, and what Hex did, its first bull run, a lot of us got a lot of fake clout just for being there. I
don't know if I'd call it fake clout. Like there's still something to be said about being able to identify something that's worthwhile early and being willing to, put some skin in the game and get in there.
Yeah. But the people that backed off during the bear market or ran away or, hid in a corner and pissed themselves or whatever you want to call it, they're the ones that really showed you what they had built, what pillars, what cores that they built as far as building trust. They couldn't face. There were people out there that couldn't face the community anymore, that couldn't be part of this anymore. And it was because they did go out there and build themselves, build their character, build their integrity, and do that so that they can be here when everything was at zero, when everything was 99% down and then 99% down from there, 99% down, and I think that, now you guys know who your leaders are. And, that was, watching you guys coming to this space as strong as you did, at the turn of the market and continue to go. It speaks volumes for who you guys are.
Yeah, when I was mentioning those people that got into Hex early, I was not one of them. I've only ever known bad times, so still here though.
Exactly, because you know what you're doing. You're a leader, and I appreciate that about you. And it'll show, and we'll put scores up on the board, and then we'll be vindicated, and we'll be seasoned, and we'll be ready for the next coming of what crypto could and should be. And if the creek don't rise and the dam don't fail, right, then we should all be sitting in a really good spot.
That's true. I will say, I think there's an interesting factor that's come about as a result of having the PulseChain and Hex community as strong and vocal and present as it is. We talked about it on the show earlier, but I think that during the rise of social media, there's kind of a prisoner's dilemma that got broken, which is that if you're looking at building trust and specifically being the integrity part of it and being an honest person, which is that everyone's fighting for clicks, everyone's fighting for attention, which means that there's only so much you can physically do. And then after that, it's a lot of hyperbole, exaggeration, and possibly outright lying. And the prisoner's dilemma that was broken is that back before the internet, we had to do all this face to face and live in the community that you were trying to lie to, means that there was a ramification to it. But now that we're all on the keyboards and the screens, that ramification has really, really dropped almost to nothing, which means that the prisoner's dilemma got flipped, which is that it's almost like you have no downside to lying to strangers on the internet and only upside to gain, assuming that they don't find out. But here's where that twist comes in. I think that because people have been around the space and we've kept the community alive and going, it's actually kind of reversed that negative effect a little bit, which means that like people like you have been around for a hot minute. You remember when people were streaming and then they went away, which means that there's still a little bit of that social enforcement going on, or people that are keeping track record of who's doing what and who's streaming, who went away, who's suffered through the hard times and gotten all the flack thrown at them. It's that kind of stuff. So I think that I will say, I think there's a good bit of trust built up within the community. And I think the community has the ability to look out and see the track record of it and understand and actually be able to accurately gauge that level of trust. One of the positives I like about this side of the house.
Well, I hope that people see the value in it. Because, you said, hey, back in the day, we didn't have the internet. Well, I grew up, built businesses, worked a career during that time. My life as a human being was developed without social media. And I came into this social media game late, and I had a hard time understanding, fitting in, figuring it out. Knowing that, in-person meetings and integrity and your word and the pillars of trust and all of that is what made the world go around and what made marketing work and what made sales work and all those kinds of things. And then coming to social media and seeing outrage marketing, you tell a lie enough times and people believe it. You are strong and wrong. You can still be popular and sell and fool people. And, in fact, you can be mean, you could be rude, you could be arrogant. And people tend to enjoy your content more. People tend to lean into what it is you're saying more, thinking that, that you're some kind of a powerful human being by doing so. And I didn't understand that. I had a hard time wrapping my head around it, especially when Richard was doing the outrage marketing thing. I saw the numbers going up. I saw, the bad press turning into at least people looking at things, at least people seeing it, at least it getting recognized and watched. Now, I saw that skipping over the pillars of trust and landing somewhere else and convincing people that because of all this, there was going to be scoreboard entries. And if they wanted to be part of the scoreboard, then they needed to, be part of that. So it was really hard for me to wrap my head around it and understand it and try and suss it out. Now, I think that the world has had enough of this. I think that it's played out. I think that it's done its time. I think that, it's still going to be around for a while. We're still going to have social media. We're still going to have the TikTokers and the Instagrammers and all that kind of stuff, and the strong and wrong, and the people that are going to go out and say horrible things to people, do horrible things to people, and people are going to like it for whatever reason, just like people like going out and killing cats and all that kind of weird stuff. But it's I think that its day is up. I think that things are going to start changing, and I think that people that are really speaking truth, people that are speaking truth to power, people that are using this platform to do the right thing, people that are also going out. And that's why I do the in-person events, because I want us all to really get to know each other. I mean, you and I have had a great relationship online, but because we've met each other a few times, we've become close friends, and we've become trusted confidants, that kind of stuff. Brought you into special rooms and talked to people. I've trusted you because we've met, because we've built that relationship. And I think that moving forward in the future, it's my hopes that things are going to start to turn around, and that the world is going to start seeing things in a different light.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I also have a bit of a cynical take on it, which is that I think a lot of what we're dealing with, especially the social media stuff, it's Pandora's box. Where there's no going back. There's only evolving from here. I think that it's probably going to get worse. And I think that AI and the ability to manufacture stuff so easily is only going to make it more and more. I guess shout out to everybody out there that believes in dead internet theory. I think it's only going to get more and more true. But the silver lining to it, I think, is that there will be a desire and just a hunger for the realness and real conversation, and believing that you're not being sold or just lied to or just faked out. And I think that's where you're going to start. I hope anyways that there's going to be a resurgence in real life events and that kind of stuff. I think there's another aspect to that, which is that hopefully we're all calibrated for that and not calibrated to online space where we get in the real world and act like fools. I think thankfully there's enough of people wanting the real stuff that they're not going to act like fools. But I do think as far as the online stuff, I don't know if it's darkest yet. The dawn's coming, but I don't know if we're at midnight yet.
Here's what's cool about that is that I've noticed that even with people that I know that are have been raised with the internet and have been raised with social media, that are out there doing the internet thing, the social media thing. When I do come face to face with them, when I do meet them in person, their whole persona changes. Their attitude changes. Their conversation changes. They're more real. Sometimes I see them a little uncomfortable with it. But I do, especially the ones that have, talk shit, threaten me or whatever,
I find that those are the people that usually have the discongruence between the online talk and the real life talk.
Yeah. But they turn into real human beings when they're in front of you. It's like I said, the hardest thing to get rid of is human body. And so you just can't block it. Turn off your internet or whatever. Person's in front of you. You've got to communicate with them some way, somehow, some shape. And I because I see that in people when I meet them, I do have hope. And I think that the online or the in-person events are, important, especially for this space, for us to start developing and building trust and building a real community around what we do. Now, the people, I've got a couple of groups that I'm in, and they're mostly Bitcoin maxis and whatnot. And, they're all in Dubai right now. And, they're
nice.
They're all meeting, they're all meeting with each other. And in my opinion, that's a good thing, because that means that they're building, they're building together, and they believe in what they're doing. They still don't have anything good to say about us usually, but it'll come around. I think it'll come around,
For sure. I think maybe a positive spin on it will be that, like, all right, let's assume that this crypto thing actually goes crazy, goes wild. And then all these people that are online acting big and making hot takes, all that stuff, they have more money than they know what to do with. What are you going to do? Just enjoy that in your home? Or are you maybe going to try to travel the world, visit some buddies, go to some cool events, cool places? I don't know. Maybe hit up Uncle Z, see if he wants to play some golf with you. I don't know. At some point, you gotta get out there.
Yeah, you do. And the other thing I'm seeing happening right now is people that were sitting on top of the world with this social media thing, or the popularity of it, they're losing it just as quick as they gain it. You look at and
I got an example for you. I think Haley Welch is the perfect darling of the boom and bust, and she did it in classic internet style with a scam meme coin.
Right? It's girl walked out of a bar, said something into a microphone, turned into an overnight sensation, and in one fell swoop, because she didn't have pillars built or didn't decide to, and that's that sudden wealth syndrome. That's all that, and it's, when you're talking about those pillars of trust, and I want to keep going back to that because that's a foundation. It's a foundation that you have to build on.
Absolutely.
If the prize comes before the foundation, that's when usually the riches and everything is lost. It's very, very difficult to have won and put the score up on the scoreboard and then go back and try and build backwards. It's very difficult to do that, and very few people are able to pull that off. So it's
it's true.
That's
I think
pitfalls.
Yeah, I think that results one it's an especially tricky one, especially in our space. Because again, you're either doing it in the market or out of the market. If you're doing it out of the market, I think it's almost an inverse thing, or even in the market, especially, which is that it's hard to build a track record just because projects are hard to build. Good projects are damn hard to build.
Yep.
So it's hard to go positive in that direction, but it's pretty darn easy to go negative if you start scamming people and lying to people and not following your word and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the 4 pillars, man, I know I don't want to like be soapboxing on it too much here, but it's nice that the book really gives people a good visualization and something tangible to look at. Because before you really read this kind of stuff, you really dive into it, a lot of trust is just a gut feeling, or it's how far you can remember and that kind of stuff. But when you actually break it down and say, how do I build this up? What are the like practical exercises I can do to build trust in myself? That I say I'm going to wake up early in the morning and work out. It's like, all right, that means I actually got to do it. So that I know that I'm not just going to keep sleeping through my alarms, and I can actually keep my word to somebody out there, even if it's just me, myself, and I.
Yeah, exactly. No, until, when I read that book, there's, again, like I say, there's nothing new under the sun. These are things that you intuitively know and understand. They've just never been broken down for you in a way for you to like really focus in and learn them. Now, I grew up in the streets. I learned a lot of my social interaction on the streets, in gangland. And when I read that book, I was able to take that book and associate it to, people in the hood that were trusted. Criminals, drug dealers, gangbangers, whatever you want to call them. That was just the world in which they lived in, the world in which they toiled, the world which was handed to them. Now, of course, they had they could have made a decision to not be in there, but really not. But I saw people with integrity. I saw people who had leadership skills. I saw people that applied those pillars naturally, and I saw that and I understood that. And I was never able to go, oh, hey, this is something that you could learn and do. This isn't just because dude was just a down motherfucker. He was, that guy was trusted because he was just something special from birth or whatever. No, this guy understood these pillars. He didn't read a book or anything. He just knew, because of whatever, he was taught or learned, how to function in that way that built, trust within his community. So no matter where you go, this stuff is still there. It's just focusing in on it, really understanding it, and really applying it to your life with, like you said, best practices and using tools and things that that book gives you, just makes it that much easier for you to understand, where it comes from, how to build it.
Whatever the walk of life and whatever color of morality is on it, I think these are some of the things that are like kind of just intuitive human nature that you can start to study. But trust, leadership, community building, I mean, the principles are pretty much the same.
Yeah, just like, I know you've been through leadership training in the military, as did I. There is a strict set of guidelines and rules to being a leader. This is a leader. This is what a leader does. This is how a leader acts. This is how a leader functions. And and you have to go take these courses and understand, how to do this. And I think that the military really, if you were just, what do they call some of those courses, like the law of land, or the law of oh gosh, what was the leadership? It's been so many damn years.
There's one of them that was like CELC, I want to say, senior enlisted leadership course.
Yeah.
No, that was a big one for the I was in the Coast Guard, by the way. I think that was a big one that all of our enlisted folks went to when they made E7. That was part of it, being a chief. It's a big deal. It really is. It's a tight-knit community, and they really police their own, which is a very cool thing to see, which is a community that cares about their professionalism, their reputation that they all uphold. Even though there's thousands of them, they still do it. It's all one team, one fight.
Yep. No, whenever I meet somebody, the gentleman that created Actuator, well, you met him also. He was a submarine. Was he an admiral, or was he was he a full bird?
I think he might have been a full bird, but I do remember the conversation, because we were looking around and someone was like, "You were a nuke sub guy. You were a nuke sub guy. And we've got a third over here. This is really rare to get three of us in a room."
Yeah. No. And I helped load the stuff onto the subs, with, you guys had the CBs there, but I was just security forces for all that when they did that. So yeah, and he actually even pulled into our port where I was stationed at. So yeah, it was, but the respect, the leadership skills, that people like that have, it's a whole nother level, man. It's a whole nother level. And,
I will say the one critique I have of like the whole leadership courses thing is that I think, at least for me, back when I was in like high school and stuff and doing some like community group stuff, they're always talking about like doing leadership stuff and leadership talks. And when you're talking to a bunch of like 15, 16-year-olds, leadership is this like nebulous concept that you can try to grasp, but then like actually trying to put it into effect and actually be a leader. It's something that really comes with actually putting the rubber to the road and having some experience and putting some years under your belt and walking the walk. You can talk about it all day, but true leadership occurs when you're actually doing it. And it's something that other people, you
got to care about your people, period. End of story. You got to care about your people, because they're not there to work for you. You're there to lead them. You're there to protect them. You're there to teach them. You're there to show them, the right way to do things. That's, leadership is not about, getting a promotion and, being some big shot. Leadership is
being able to yell at people and tell them what to do.
Exactly. It's not it. It's not it at all, and it doesn't work, especially in the military. If your people don't respect you, they're not going to take that hill, and so there's a different way of leading, in the military. And, but you see it exemplified in other people. I'm not going to just say that military people, do that. It's just them that do that. There's people out there that are leaders, in the markets, in crypto, that understand all that stuff, without, going to any courses or whatever. Oh, well, guess who we have here? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I bring to you Chaos.
Heyo. I saw you in the chats earlier. I was wondering when you were going to show up. Good to see you, man.
I was trying not to, but
we enticed you. We lured you in.
And like everything, I get into these conversations and I start thinking about other stuff, and then when it triggers me, I got to get it out of my system. So, we're talking a lot about leadership, and we talked a lot. You talked a lot about people making coins and doing this and doing that. The thing is, it's not the code that's the issue. It's the networking that is the issue, that is having the following base, the people interested, the engagement and stuff. Anybody can make a coin. We know that. We've got the apps that are so easy to do that, and anybody can do it. you know, and the fact that anybody, absolutely anybody can. And if it's available, since anybody can, anybody probably will. It doesn't mean everybody should, but it means, you know, it's there. It's available for anybody to do. And you know, but so like in the real world, running a business requires certain qualifications. Building a coin takes no qualifications.
Push a button.
Just push a button, right? So it's a very easy outlet for people that may not have skills or business experience or whatever. Even if you run a hot dog stand, you got to get your permit. You've got to, you know, you've got the food and drug administration. You know, you got to get your permit. There's other permits and different stuff that you got to get. So even just running a hot dog stand, you got that. So what we've got in crypto is literally like, you know, everybody's like, hey, this guy over here, he's making $2,000 a day selling hot dogs. I'm going to sell hot dogs too. Click, click. I'm selling hot dogs too. Well, guess what? Now neither one of you are making $2,000 a day. And then the next guy comes along. He's like, hey, these guys are making $1,000 a day. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do that too. Click, click. They're doing it. Next thing you know, there's 10 hot dog stands, right? You're all competing, selling pretty much the same exact product because what is a meme? What is a stock? Okay, it is literally just basically a flag that says, I like this team. That's all it is.
That's it.
I like this team. I like this pitcher. I like this idea. And you're competing for the same exact mind share because all crypto is a ledger. And we're dealing with people that have never balanced a checkbook in their entire life. They don't even know what a checkbook ledger is. They weren't around when checkbook ledgers were a thing. You know, or when you had a savings account, you actually had to write on your balance sheet, you know, how much you took out. There's people that don't even have that much experience and are able to make a coin, and that's perfectly okay, right?
Oh,
and
Johnny,
then we're
doing math by hand. I don't even know how to do that. I'm under the age of 40.
This is what I'm saying, you know, and we're expecting people that can't even balance a ledger to balance a ledger, balance a digital ledger. And not only that, in the quantities of millions and billions of coins and unaccounted for coins that they've given out to this person and that person and this person and that person. Oh, it'd be okay. We only have, you know, $10,000 in liquidity, but, you know, we can hand out billions of coins. It'll work out just fine. So, you know, the problem is anybody can, they probably will. And you got to really think about what you're doing because it all comes down to the same thing. These are just different forms of ledger. Send and receive function, ledger. And then the things that are more complicated, that's even worse. When you've got inflation and you've got taxes and you've got, you know, all this different interaction in the code that you've got programmed in, if you've got multipliers, if you've got, you know, these other things, that just becomes more unaccounted for coins. And that's what makes it more difficult, right? So you have the concept of one, people want to start an easy business that costs them no money. Okay. Their objective here is this is my business. I'm going to make money with this. That's why they start a coin. It's not I'm starting a coin for this purpose or that purpose or, you know, trying to raise funds to do something or another, right? It's literally, this is my business. I'm going to sell this coin. I'm going to make money. Because they're not producing anything, right? The coins are already made the second they click the button. They don't have anything more to offer beyond that. So it's very easy to do. But again, because these things continuously get set up the same exact way and for the same exact reasons, that's why they tend not to work. Period.
Yeah. Johnny, I think you hit it on the nail there. I think the kind of the missing point that people don't see when they look at the hot dog stand man or the Memecoin man and they say, oh, wow, that's just a money printer. It's like, nah, it's actually closer to a leveraged investment, which is that it is an investment that is going to require some upkeep or work from yourself or someone that you hire. There's going to be some knowledge. There's going to be some experience. There's a degree of skill. It's not just the money printer that you think it is. So there's muscle and mental power behind every one of them.
To make it work,
every successful one of them.
Yes, yeah. To make it work, you have to do more. To make it work, you have to support it. To make it work, you have to know how to balance a ledger. To make it work, You have to continue to support it, and you have to find a way to use that to reward the people that are supporting you.
Exactly.
Not just build this thing that this is how I'm going to fill my pockets. You have to find a way to take that thing that you have built and have a way to give back to your people to encourage their continued participation. Because if you don't continue their encouraged participation, they just walk off and they go find something else.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is they'll walk off and they'll find something else with the better story. It's not because it's a better technology or a better thing.
Exactly.
It's just the better story. And then, and the worst part is people want to be lied to.
Exactly.
They want to be lied to.
Sell the dream.
They want to be lied to. They want the story to fit their narrative, and whether it's a lie or not, they just want, as long as the narrative's there for them, as long as they got something they can believe in, whether it's a lie or not, they're happy with that. That's what they want.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so if you tell them the truth and it's not exciting enough, that's not good enough for them. They want to hear, yeah, if you buy this, it'll go up 10,000x. Do you know how rare that actually is to actually happen?
I think there's less than 5 coins every cycle that do something like that.
Yeah,
not even every cycle. I mean, it's like 5 coins in history have done a 10,000x. So I mean, people just throw these numbers out here. Oh, 10,000x, 1,000x, 10,000x, 100x used to be the holy grail, and Hex is still sitting there. By the way, Hex is still sitting there from all-time lows at 100x. So that was last cycle. It's still sitting there at 100x. Okay, so when people say it's 99% down, that's bullshit. It's 99% down from the top. It's not 99% down because the people that were at the beginning of that cycle are still up 100x. Now, where the people are going to be from this cycle to the next cycle, it could be another 100x. We don't know yet. We're not there yet. We can't just skip ahead in time and see where it's going to land up. That's why you're placing your bet. But to say it's a failure because, oh, it's 99%, that's not the same. There's a lot of things that are totally retraced.
Now, I'd like to differentiate, what you're talking about too here, and kind of explain, because you and I have had conversations about this, over the last few months, and we've had a lot of conversations about this. And we look at the stock market today. The stock market, a stock was supposed to be, when stocks came out, the stocks were a way for an investor to come into the company and by the merits of the company, buy value and give value to that company, and by that company's merit and what that company did based on their P&Ls and based on the product that they put out, based on the service that they provided, that stock price went up and dividends were paid to shareholders and whatnot. Well,
in there for the ones that have the dividends, not all of them have dividends.
Not all of them have dividends. And some of them,
a lot of them are just simply because the company is popular. It's much like a meme. Because the company is popular, you assume somebody else might pay more for it. But go ahead.
I'm saying that as time has gone on, that is morphed and changed, especially with the arbitrage grift that was put in to play in the markets, and the gambling aspect of the markets. We can look at it right now. The Tesla product has not changed. The Tesla product is still the Tesla product. People were in love with the Tesla product, whether it was overvalued or whatever has nothing to do with it. But based on sentiment of the owner, Tesla not changing its product, not changing who it is as a company, but just because the owner fell on bad graces with certain people, he's lost $120 billion or something like that. That's not the merit of the company that lost that. That was sentiment. That's just market bullshit. And I think that, crypto can help to change that. And John, and you and I have talked about that. You built that coin, based on, what it is. And I know you're probably not wanting to talk about it, but I want to talk about it because it's something that we should talk about, because you built a coin, based on you and your business and what you do. And you said, hey, everybody, look, I've got a coin here that this is all it's going to be worth. It has a chance of going up if people in the market buy it, but only by a certain amount. And there's really no way for a whale to come in and do stupid things with it. Nobody's going to want to do that. But if you like what Johnny does, if you like the product that I put out, support it and buy $1 worth of it.
Yeah.
And Johnny's going to keep the trading fees because I'm the one that put the market out there, and I'm going to work hard and build my business and build trust with you guys and show you who I am. And I'm not going to put my hand in the cookie jar or get a bunch of the token and dump it on your heads. I'm going to just, let you guys, buy $1 worth of it for me and show the support of my company and show that you want to be part of the shareholder, basically. I think that crypto has a place in changing how the stock market looks at companies by doing just the model that you did, and maybe you could explain it a little better because, you built a token and, but it's based on, the pillars of trust that you have built amongst your customers and the people in your community that believe in Johnny and what he does. And again, I'm not promoting Johnny's coin or anything. I'm just saying that Johnny is put out an experiment to show what good handling of a token can look like for a company that's trying to get people to support it.
Yeah. So if you think about it like this, all right, donation, you get nothing. Sacrifice, you get nothing. Super chat, you get nothing. Okay. GoFundMe, get nothing. Right. So all these different ways, you donate to a politician, you get nothing. Right. So all these different ways that you can support people that you believe in their work or whatever, all these different ways, you get nothing. Okay. Your money's gone. Right. So as a type of model, the blockchain could be used to fund or expand businesses that have real world products. Okay. Given if I can prove this, if I can prove this is a solid foundation, if managed correctly, the trading fees and stuff can go towards funding or expanding a business as long as you don't screw with the cups. It can be 100% supported by the community because basically all liquidity pool is 2 cups. Okay. You put your money in one, you take a token out the other. You don't screw with if you don't screw with the cups, if somebody wants to put their dollar back in and or put a token back in and take their dollar out, they're fine. Okay. You can't promise people high gains. Why? Well, if it goes up 10x, right? You have to have 10 times the liquidity to support that. So a lot of these things move too fast to where it's like, okay, if somebody starts something with $1 million, they're like, haha, we're up to $10 million market cap, right? And if it's real market cap, well, there's only one person that can collect that $1 million, right? Because people, the way the distribution models work is just kind of all wrong. And the way I set it up is very, very simple, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And I'm just kind of using this as kind of a proof model that, say, a small company that doesn't know how to break up their company into stocks, okay, or
they just
doesn't want to, hot dog stand, or doesn't want to borrow money from the bank so they can borrow a zero from the government so they can loan you that zero that they don't even have, that they borrowed from the government to charge you 10% on, when technically the business, if the business wanted to and the business was profitable, the business then could take the money that they would be paying the bank for the loan to borrow the zero that they don't even own, and they could put that back into their coin, right? And then in the trading fees, you would also get that coin back. So if somebody sells, and I was picking, I said RG's probably my whale. I had one person with $2,000 that sold down on the market and they couldn't hurt the price. The largest person in the position sold down, they couldn't hurt the price. But what they did do when they sold down the market is they gave me STM back. So what do I do with that STM when I get back on a sell? I burn it. So what does that do? That reduces the amount of coins that can be claimed. So
the price of the shareholders,
which raises what I call the bank run floor. Okay. Most things do not have a floor. You hear people talk about there's a floor, there's a floor, there's a floor. There's never a floor. You know why? Because there's not enough dollars in the cookie jar to support the floor. Well, for this, the only way to get a coin is you have to put $1 in the cookie jar first, right? So every coin that's out there is backed by at least $1 because you have to put $1 in the cookie jar first. But again, like I said, a lot of these things out there, they just want to present you gains. Oh, we're going to go up 10,000x. And just ignore the liquidity. Don't pay attention to that at all. It doesn't matter what's back. Nobody's claiming anyway. And as long as nobody's selling, the price does go up, right? And if there's only 2 people participating in something and it's got a low market cap, somebody puts 10 grand in and nobody's there to sell back down on it, it can really just pump the price up, right? So people are fooled by like, look over here, look at this chart, look at this, we're up 50% today, blah, 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 but it's all fake. It's all fake. You're looking at the people that are just participating. And, in my experiment, and people get this idea too, that, okay, well, you have a large following. Well, everybody's going to buy your coin. No, I've got 90 holders, which is fine. I'm cool with that because those 90 holders, good. I'm happy for them because they get it. If nobody wants to participate, they don't got to, because I'm not promising anybody some kind of mad wacky gains or anything. It is a proof of concept to show that a business can utilize the blockchain in a way that allows them to reward the holders without rewarding the banks, without having to get government grants, without having to beg, borrow, and steal for money just so you can keep your power on. It allows you. It allows you to do it in a decentralized way and allow your holders, if they need their money back, they can put their money back in, or they can put their tokens back in and take their money back out if they need it. So they're not really out anything. Now, once the price goes higher, that changes, because when the price goes up to $2, you better believe there's people that bought it for $1 that are going to sell it for $2.
Yeah.
So if you wait for the $2 mark, well, yeah, you can lose 50% of your money because that's how these things are designed. If you buy for $2 and it sells back down to $1, then there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
But you can set a floor. You can set a bank run bottom. And I don't know if people understand
and that's
that.
the risk, and that's the risk of a real stock market, and that's the risk of a crypto that's backed by a company that's either doing well or somebody wants to, it works better than the Jeet model, that's for sure.
I mean, there's no reason for the Jeep model other than the fact of bad management.
Exactly.
Or no intent to actually support it, because you're on to the next thing anyway. Look, it's like if you go bankrupt in business, your credit's screwed for 7 years, right? If you go bankrupt in a crypto, you click a couple buttons and you start again. You go, I'm sorry, guys, it didn't work out, but look, I made another one. How about a bunch of you new ones jump on, right? So that's kind of how, there's no consequence. There is no consequence. They're not going to go after anybody. If you lose your money, you're screwed. So you got to really think about what you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
When people say my coin's going to go up, why? How's it going to go up? Through what mechanism? Because buy and burn doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. You have to have interest. You have to have people actually participating in the network.
Yeah.
For that to actually matter, because if there's no interest, the buy and burn alone ain't going to do it by itself, right? If people don't, because you got to have something behind, you have to have a reason for people to support and do it.
Yeah.
If it goes towards something that they believe in, that's fine. If you don't believe in it, don't.
Yeah.
You have the right to choose what you believe in and what you want to invest in, what you don't want to invest in.
Yeah,
no one's going to stop you from doing that, but you're not going to stop people from doing it anyway.
yeah.
So,
and what's funny, you know, something that's lost in all of this is that you know, when I first started investing in the stock market, I started doing it in the 90s when the Motley Fool was first, you know, on the scene, and all that was going down, and everybody was starting to day trade, and they had, you know, ways to do so. You know, I was looking at all of it, watching all of it. I was too afraid to jump into it, but I called my father-in-law. And my father-in-law was an executive for a Fortune 5 company. You know, he was a very smart man, well invested, all that kind of stuff. And you know, I said, "Hey, I want to buy this stock, and looking at this one and watch it going up, and the dot-com boom was happening and all that stuff." And he said, whoa. I'm gonna get you to my broker, and we're gonna sit down and talk. So I go to Newport Beach and I sit down with the broker, and I'm like, yeah, I want to this. And he was like, whoa. That's not how things are done. You know, we're going to set you up for a long-term investment strategy. You know, this money will end up being available to you, you know, in 40, you know, years or so. And I was just like, I was so disillusioned. I was like, well, wait a minute, you know, the world's changing. Things are moving fast. But they sat me down and taught me something about that. And I read some books on Warren Buffett and what was going on for real and what was really going on in the stock market. And then I watched these people getting wrecked. I watched the Jeters coming into the stock market and day trading and leverage trading and doing all of this stuff. And, you know, in crypto, it's pathetic. It's a way of life here. But, you know, when it first started in the real world stock market, you know, I was just learning how to become an investor. And of course, I didn't play any of those games. I bought solid assets and did all that kind of stuff that I was taught. But I saw the shift, you know, and I saw what was happening. And then, so I understand what it is you're trying to do, Johnny, and what it means. And by utilizing crypto to do so, I mean, obviously, you know, your audience is very unlikely to, you know, want to pay too much attention to it, but there's some value there. I see some real old world value there in doing that. Hey, we got one of our good friends coming in, and I'm gonna bring him up. Ladies and gentlemen, T-Ird. What's happening, bro? How you doing?
T-Ird.
What's going on, lads? How are you doing? How's my audio?
Good.
It sounds great. Sounds great.
I'm the one with the crappy audio all the time because I've just got this little camera with the little microphones. You're lucky I got this damn camera with the microphones. I used to stream just on my cell phone because I did not want to upgrade my computer just to stream because I was never supposed to be a streamer.
I think that's all of us, how all of us felt at some point.
So how are we all doing? What did I miss? What have we been talking about?
Oh,
leadership, real world value,
Building trust,
the long game, building trust, doing things the right way, getting rid of the Jeet mentality.
The Jeet model is not an effective business model.
That's going to be an uphill battle forever, getting rid of that Jeet shit.
Yeah, of course.
Well, because it's just easy. It's easy. I mean, a person's able to start a money grab online without effectively having any business experience whatsoever, and just creating a coin, telling a story, and hoping people give them money. But I'll tell you this, guys, you know, it really doesn't do us good running around pointing at everybody going, he's a thief, he's a thief, he's a thief. These people are not making as much money as you think they are. And
you go paranoid.
I mean, really, they're going to lose the respect that, you know, if you screw up. So like, I didn't even want to build anything for the longest time because I thought, it's like, what if it goes wrong? You know, what if I don't have it figured out? It can't be this easy, right? There's got to be something that could go wrong, because otherwise people would just be doing it like this, wouldn't they? But no, that's not the problem. The problem is, they can't keep their hands out of the cookie jar. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Because they think the cookie jar is theirs. They don't realize, no, the liquidity is the people's, not yours. You're not supposed to be screwing with people's cookie jars, but they just see it as, hey, put your money in here so they can run off with it. I mean, and that's just how it is. It's not that it can't be done. It's just that people aren't choosing to do it that way. And it's not as glamorous either. It's not as glamorous when you can just tell people, oh yeah, you're going to make 10x,
Looks more glamorous on the outside. Always
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that a lot of people out there in crypto just don't adopt that long-term vision, understanding how liquidity works, understanding that if you're just able to just hold your bags for a certain amount of time without having that desire to extract in the short term, you realize that just simply by holding it long and allowing the adoption rate to just organically build itself over time, which will naturally be better for the price chart, which has the ripple effect of incentivizing people to jump in, and it has a net positive adoption effect. But it's crazy that, like, especially after what we've seen, on with the Solana run in 24, the amount of cheating that happened there, and that kind of mindset has now become. We've seen how destructive it is. So, in the big picture of things. So, I just hope at some point that true HODL mindset, which I think has disappeared in a lot of ways, like what you saw in previous cycles, can start to come back. But I'm feeling really bullish at the moment with the SEC victory, the regulatory clarity with all the RH cores. It's a stepping stone for the community to really get behind that and really push that as a selling point.
Yeah, and the other thing is people build things to compete too, and then they'll lie to you. They'll say, oh, well, this coin's better than the core coins or whatever, right? And they'll lie to you about that. The fact is, these things all are network effect, and it doesn't matter what you build within this ecosystem. Richard's the face for anything you build over on PulseChain. If people don't like Richard, they're not coming over to PulseChain to buy your coin. Hex has the most brand awareness out of anything that we have. eHex has performed better than any of the other coins throughout this whole entire year. People that have been buying eHex have been doing just fine because it's kind of separated from the rest of what's going on over here. That marketing and brand awareness really matters later, when people are looking for things in the places where they normally shop and things sound familiar. The thing is, it's very important for the core coins to continue to do well for anything that's going to be built on Pulse now or in the future, to do well, period. That has to come first. We have to, I was, and T-Bird, you've been doing this too. You get real mad at the people that are like shitting all over eHex, not realizing that, that is really necessary to be where it is and be visible where it is. So when people come looking, they might not want to come over to our private island yet, but at least they've got somewhere to dip their toe in to start, and that's going to be very important.
Yeah. And why crap on the product that it has the same logo as the product you're trying to promote?
Oh, you mean the one that actually did do a 10,000x?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why crap on the one that actually did do a 10,000x?
Just the one tough thing though with EHEX is because ETH is so wrecked.
ETH is wrecked, yeah.
So that makes it sort of at this point, because ETH is so wrecked, it's better to try to get people to focus, at least at the moment, on the PulseChain side. But then again, on the flip side, if that trend changes and start to see ETH, the ETH BTC ratio, getting a little bit better and start to recover, then focus on.
Well, it's been the most stable. Even with ETH being wrecked, it's been the most stable. The impact has been mostly on our private island. The Jeeps have been on the Pulse side. The people that are hurting the price is all the people on the Pulse side. Those are the tokens that are easiest to sell, easiest to get rid of, easiest to unload, the cheaper transactions, the higher amount of allocations and amounts of money that people dumped in when everybody shifted their economic energy over. Well, hey, the charts are there. Look at them. Make your own impressions. Hex Classic's been strong this whole year. People that haven't gone over to the island have had less pain than the people who have.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the liquidity bonding between the two, they're all going to be moving together.
Oh no, they're definitely all going to move together. But you do have that degree of separation where I don't want to get into all this, but you do have the degree of separation that newer people are more likely to buy the EHEX than they are to bridge, come over, and then.
Well, yeah, because just because the on-ramping, off-ramping.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to get people to on-ramp onto ETH than try to. I mean, it's
already there. They can already
on-ramping directly into PulseChain, but there's still so much gatekeeping and suppression and barriers that have been put up.
But it's back on Uniswap. So that was one of the things that really hurt it was removed from Uniswap. But we even saw people were looking for it on MetaMask Swap. So it was one of the highest traded tokens on the Ethereum network through MetaMask Swap, top 5 tokens. Yep. So what that's saying is when people couldn't find it on Uniswap, they were still clicking buy and they were paying extra fees just to get it. And those are not Hexicans. That's telling you that's non-Hexicans that don't know better than to hit that button. And that should really show people something. So when ETH does start moving, I would never count out
an easy way to get exposure. So yeah, that makes sense.
I would never count out EHEX. That was just a dumb idea, and it caused more confusion. And when you say one hex is bad, you might as well say both hexes are bad because that's all anybody hears when you say that.
Yeah, I think ultimately some people that are very loud in the community just sort of interpreted the whole, like Richard's tweets from a year ago, as divisive, between the two, but it's actually not.
Well, of course, he's going to want people to use his preferred chain. It's his brand new baby.
That's the point that I'm getting at is that ultimately it's in his best interest to ultimately get people to focus on the actual new chain and have people perceive the real hex, quote unquote, as being on the Pulse side because that's the new paradigm.
Right. But unfortunately,
everyone knows that the hex on Ethereum still will always retain its value.
Do you want an apartment in New York, or do you want an apartment on a private island that nobody knows about, that has no grocery stores, or like Puerto Rico? No. Do you want real estate in New York, or you want real estate in Puerto Rico? What do you want? That's kind of the thing there, And you know what? Here's the thing: you could have an apartment in both. It's okay.
That's true. The second half of the EHEX marketing that got lost in the messaging was that Richard said he hopes that all hex is valuable everywhere, but
Yeah.
At the time, it was only the first half of the message.
Wants all hex to be valuable everywhere, and he's always said that he was there to help Ethereum and relieve some of the issues. And I think that Hexicans have always been our worst enemy when it comes to this kind of stuff, and interpreting or faking or thinking or acting like we know what Richard's saying or meaning or whatnot. I've seen it time and time and time again, all of these narratives about what Richard is saying. And I mean, it doesn't help that he's very cryptic in what he does say, so that we get the best of the best conspiracy theorists to come out and start commenting on it. But we've always been our worst enemies. And
yeah,
when the captain says everybody move to this side of the ship, it's expected that everybody's going to move to that side of the ship. But what you're not expecting is all the people on the beach. What are they going to do? That's who you're not counting. The people on the beach watching. And instead of just letting the people on the beach make up their own mind, we wanted to drill holes in one side of the boat where the other people were standing and go, ha ha, your side is sinking. Meanwhile, we're all on the same boat. We're all going down together. And the people on the beach are looking at us like, you guys are a bunch of freaking idiots. You're drilling holes in your own boat. You're both going to go down. One side goes down. The other side's going to, what are you doing? Looking at us like we're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it's true. It doesn't matter. Any of the coins, I mean, they are all bonded. They're going to go up together.
Yep.
But you have to realize that the people that aren't in yet, there's way more of them than us. Way more.
Yep. We are a very.
Oh, there's Brizzology with the community migrated. You know what, Briz? I want to migrate back to East because you're over there on Pulse, okay? I don't want to live on the island with you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to see you ever, okay?
And the community,
you're not encouraging me to go to the private island.
The community did migrate. Some did. And some capitalized on that.
Well, a lot of people dump their bags like Briz there. He doesn't have the goddamn E-Hex. And so, of course, the only place he thinks the economic energy is just going to automatically flow to the private island. Have you seen what a bridge looks like to your noob? It doesn't look like a big palace across to this wonderful island. It's not a beautiful ferry. No, it's one of those rickety things that you think the boards are going to break off. That's what they're looking at when they're thinking about crossing the bridge. So good luck with that, bud. Good luck.
Now it was my own fault. I think I had some corruption in one of my in my bridge here, and I had a transaction stuck for like 15, 16 hours. Yeah, it was pretty spooky. I finally got it.
You finally got it straightened out.
Finally got it straightened out. But
what do you guys use for bridging?
I use the bridge.
Like what front do you use? Like the main PulseChain bridge, or do you use other dApps or platforms? Or
I also like Portal X for cross-chain swaps.
Okay, I haven't actually used Portal X in a while. I've actually been using Internet Money Wallet for bridging, but it's just small amounts for now because of this I don't know what to call it. And I did I don't know if you guys saw, I did a YouTube stream a few days ago with KG, the founder of Internet Money Wallet, and he actually went into explanation as to why there's a maximum that you can do quantity wise in PLS for when you do bridging on the wallet itself. And he basically said it's completely random with different chains. Some chains will allow large amounts, some will be small, but currently it's only an issue in terms of quantity wise because the price is so low. But when the prices start to go way up, the maximum quantity that's permissible for bridging on, and by the way, here the Internet Money Wallet has no control over how much gets bridged or whatever. It's all dictated by the actual bridging service, which is Change Now, which is the service that facilitates the bridging through Internet Money Wallet. So it's all dictated by them. Yeah. all these yeah middlemen.
Which is
Hey,
these-
Briz, by the way, yeah, it was so dumb that I got 10-to-1 ratio. Gosh, I feel so dumb that I got the 10-to-1 ratio.
don't
And PX has been the solidest thing through the past year. I feel so dumb about that.
don't let little Brisk get underneath your fingernails, man. He's just trying to get you stirred up. Don't
Yeah,
listen.
he's just egging you on.
He's just egging you on.
Oh, he'll meet me one day. He will.
Oh, he's got so mad that you shut your internet off.
Oh my gosh.
You're lagging out, Johnny. Oh boy.
Unfortunately, we have mentally retarded people in the community that are very loud, very wrong a lot, but they're very, very proud of being wrong.
Well, I like the least of us, so Briss is my good friend. And I think he's a necessary troll, and obviously you two always have fireworks when you get together.
You can have him.
All right. Well, anyway, we've been going for 2 hours. I don't want this stream to go any longer. T-Bird, thanks for coming, bro. Always appreciate you.
Mr. T-Bird.
You guys got to go follow him on Twitter. He puts up the real deal stuff. And of course, Johnny, everybody knows Johnny. Johnny don't want you to follow him. Johnny don't want you to like him. Johnny don't care. Johnny's just
don't
here
need to participate in anything that I do or support or anything. No, I'm good.
Yeah, Johnny said he had 90 people in the token. Go make him
good.
mad.
Yeah, Johnny's got a token, and he's a trusted individual in the community. He's built just basically a stock token. If you like what Johnny does, you want to support what Johnny does, that's what he's got out there. I'm not telling you to buy it, and Johnny's not telling you to buy it either. He's just trying to.
Nope, you have to read to find it because I ain't even going to give you the contract address, so you have to figure it out yourself.
Now, Johnny, what is this? We got a comment from Yellowtail. He says, "Magic the Gathering, Johnny."
Because I collect the cards too. I've even got beta cards from original.
Oh shoot!
Yep, just laying around here.
Johnny and I were talking the last few months about this stuff, and I built a token too, but I didn't tell nobody what it is, and it's for a later date, and it's the same concept to support the events. And hopefully it'll end up being where people want to support the event. They'll buy $1 worth of token or something and give the trading fees to the event and support fill in the stadiums. So one of these days I'll talk about it, but it's there. But yeah, it's under the same concept of just creating a token built on the trust and the good management of the organization or the people that are behind it, and I like that concept, and I'm hoping it's going to work out for people who are trying to do stuff like this. Instead of
maybe you should make a coin so you can get a hood for your outdated Mercedes. How about that?
He doesn't have a Mercedes. He has a rat rod. So anyway, all right, everybody, and of course, last one definitely. Zenith from DGen Roundtable. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you guys always supporting us and being there.
Hey, always a pleasure.
Handing off the torch to you guys. And hey, let's get together. Maybe stick around the green room. We can talk a little bit about getting a meeting together and talking to those.
Done.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We appreciate all of you, and we'll see you next week, Thursday. If you're a cigar aficionado. We have a cigar show now that we're doing. Myself,
what?
A cigar show. So
let's go.
We're trying to break into other communities. So I'm telling everybody from crypto, kind of stay away from it. You don't want to.
Yeah.
We're just
quickly on that subject. I'm also in the process of starting to get out of the echo chamber as much as possible and try to use other strategies to bring people in from the outside. through the Twitter realm. So yeah, going to be working hard on that.
And that's what we should all be doing, you know, breaking out of the echo chamber that is our Hex PulseChain community, the Hexican community, even the crypto community. We've banged them for 5 years, guys, and they ain't coming. when green candles come and everything goes crazy and we're all you know, dancing on coffins again, then yeah, they'll probably want to get some. But until then, I think it's time we all go out there and start marketing to other folks, like the cigar community. I'd like to get out there and anybody who's a cigar aficionado. On Thursday nights, we're doing a show, me, Crispy Man, and Triplet Dad from MCR. We're smoking cigars and talking very, very, very light crypto, just, you know, what it's about, entry, you know, setting up an account to get yourself into crypto, that kind of stuff. Just real, we're not going into, you know, Hex and PulseChain and all that stuff. We're keeping it simple so people can, you know, get a better idea of what crypto could mean for them. And the cigar world is full of a lot of people with a lot of time and a lot of money. So we think it's a good deal. So if you want to come by and see that on Thursdays, we're doing that on Thursdays. And then of course we will be here next Friday, on Discourse Syndicate to bring you, what do I got going on here? There we go. To bring you the FN Hangout one more time. All right, everybody, have a good one. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.